Welcome back to the Just Say Something podcast. Today I'm discussing one of the most urgent and fast-moving issues affecting young people in 2025, vaping. The landscape has changed dramatically over the past few years, and if you're a parent, teacher, or caring adult, you'll probably notice that teens are exposed to more vaping products, more flavors, and more marketing than ever before. Even though traditional cigarette smoking is at historic lows, the CDC continues to report that vaping remains the leading source of nicotine for teens, and the industry is only getting more creative. What makes this topic even more challenging is that vaping has become harder to spot, harder to regulate, and harder for families to talk about without conflict. So today, I'm walking through the facts, the trends, the hidden risk, and most importantly, the tools families in Greenville and across South Carolina can use, including help from organizations like Smoke Free South Carolina, Compass of Carolina, and our own prevention programs here at Just Say Something. If you remember the early days of Juul devices, get ready. Today's vapes are an entirely different universe. The FDA has been sounding the alarm about the explosion of disposable vapes in bright colors, candy flavors, and ultra-high nicotine concentrations. These products are appealing because they're convenient, cheap, and easy to hide. Some of them contain the nicotine equivalent to multiple packs or even cartons of cigarettes. Many of the newer devices don't even look like vapes. Teens in upstate South Carolina are carrying devices disguised as highlighters, USB drives, makeup tubes, and markers. The Truth Initiative has documented a rise in stealth vapes, products designed to blend into everyday objects, and teachers in Greenville County tell us that they're seeing them in pencil bags, hoodie sleeves, and backpacks without realizing what they are at first. Kids are also experimenting with synthetic nicotine products, which were developed specifically to sidestep tobacco regulations. Even though the FDA has attempted to close these loopholes, the market moves faster than regulation, and teens end up being unintentional guinea pigs. One of the biggest dangers of vaping isn't just the nicotine, it's the message. The Journal of Adolescent Health has shared research showing that teens are influenced heavily by TikTok and Instagram content that frames vaping as harmless, relaxing, or better than smoking. The packaging looks like candy, the names sound like desserts, and the designs even mimic cosmetics. This is where Smoke Free South Carolina plays a powerful role. Smoke Free South Carolina has been one of the leading statewide voices pushing back against youth-targeted nicotine marketing. Their advocacy work is part of why South Carolina schools, parents, and prevention groups are becoming more aware of the tricks vaping companies use, including flavored products, youth-friendly branding, and misleading nicotine-free claims that are often untrue. They're also a trusted resource for helping families understand the science behind nicotine, addiction, and the misleading tactics that keeps teens hooked. The Surgeon General has repeatedly warned that nicotine exposure during adolescence affects developing brains, regions that control attention, learning, and impulse regulation. But young people don't see nicotine. They see pastel packaging, YouTube reviews, and TikTok trends. Marketing is the disguise, and that's what makes vaping so dangerous for adolescents. Because vaping is so easy to hide, visual and by smell, parents often overlook the early clues. Vape aerosol evaporates quickly, and unlike cigarettes, it doesn't have a lasting odor. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, some of the earliest signs include unexpected coughs, more frequent thirst, nose bleeding, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. Teens may go through gum or mints rapidly or take more frequent bathroom breaks to sneak hits. Teachers in upstate South Carolina also report finding colored caps, rubber stoppers, or pin-like pieces during class cleanup. Items that don't look like vaping parts unless you know what they are. These subtle signs can be easily missed, so parents should trust their instincts if something feels off, especially if behavior changes line up with potential vaping clues. Parents often tell us they're afraid to bring up vaping because they don't want to start a fight. But the National Institute on Drug Abuse says that the most effective conversations are calm, specific, and non-judgmental. One of the best ways to start is by referencing something you saw or learned. Try something like, I read today that some vapes contain more nicotine than a pack of cigarettes. What do you think about that? Or, I saw a video about vapes that look like highlighters. Have you seen anything like that at school? These open-ended questions let kids express what they're observing without feeling attacked. Research shows teens open up more when parents use curiosity instead of accusations. And once the conversations begin, you can gradually move into topics like peer pressure, online content, or the truth about addiction. Nicotine addiction forms faster in teens than in adults because their brains are still developing. The CDC has repeatedly emphasized that youth nicotine use, whether through cigarettes or vaping, increases long-term risk of addiction, mood disorders, and cognitive impairments. This is why prevention programs matter so much. Across Greenville County, Just Say Something continues providing school-based education, parent workshops, and youth programs to help kids understand that vaping looks like today and what it's not as. This is why prevention programs matter so much. Across Greenville County, Just Say Something continues to provide school-based education, parent workshops, and youth programs that help kids understand what vaping looks like today and why it's not as harmless as TikTok makes it seem. Our partnership with Smoke Free South Carolina strengthens this work. Smoke Free South Carolina helps bring statewide advocacy, tobacco-free policy support, and credible nicotine education that aligns perfectly with our prevention mission. Their resources help us talk not only about vaping, but also about how marketing, policy, and access shape the behaviors we see in schools every day. And when emotional support becomes part of the picture, such as stress, anxiety, and depression or peer pressure, Compass of Carolina is there to support families with counseling and mental health services. We know from years of prevention data that when teens have strong emotional support systems, their likelihood of using nicotine decreases sharply. The Power Collective, now entering year 3, also ties all of this together. It connects schools, nonprofits, faith communities, and youth-serving organizations to create a coordinated response to substance use and emotional well-being. In other words, we're building a safety net thick enough that no child slips through. Vaping now doesn't look like vaping did 5 to 7 years ago. The devices are different, the marketing is sharper, the risks are higher. But our community is stronger, better informed, and more connected than ever. When families, schools, prevention organizations, Smoke Free South Carolina, Compass of Carolina, and the Power Collective work together, our kids get the message loud and clear. Their health matters, they matter, and they don't have to navigate this alone. Don't forget to follow Just Say Something on social media to keep up with our programs, events, and ways to get involved. And if you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe and follow the Just Say Something podcast. We are on YouTube and all major podcast platforms, including Audible, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. Well, thank you for being here today, for caring enough to learn, and for continuing to be a powerful influence in your child's life. We'll see you next time on the Just Say Something podcast.